Hello, third year students. Welcome in Poetry. The Lamb by William Blake. Little lamb, who made thee? Dost thou know who made thee? Gave thee life and bid thee feed by the stream and over the mead. Gave thee clothing of the light, softest clothing, wool bright. Gave thee such a tender voice, making all the vales rejoice. Little lamb, who made thee? Dost thou know who made thee? Little lamb, I will tell thee. Little lamb, I will tell thee. He's called by thy name, for he calls himself a lamb. He is meek, and he is mild. He became a little child. I a child, and thou a lamb, we are called by his name. Little lamb, God bless thee. Little lamb, God bless thee. First of all, William Blake, a pre-romantic poet. Who is William Blake? From his early childhood, William Blake used to live in his imagination. He considered the world mad because of wars, destruction, devastation, and cruelty. Blake saw people following the materialistic things, so he escaped from this world to another world. He wants to live in another world, beautiful, romantic, a dreamy world. Blake was a man of a very sharp vision. His idea, purpose, was to call for love, peace, pleasure, and the end of oppression. He called for the liberation of human minds from old restraints. He escaped from a limited reality to a world of vision where people are free and happy. William Blake is a very important pre-romantic poet. Like any other writer or poet or author, he has some significant books, but actually we find two significant books in his poetry. Number one, Songs of Innocence. What does it mean? Songs of Innocence. William Blake was famous as a poet of childhood and of innocence. His book, or this book, was full of joys, pleasures, purity, activities. Children are innocent, simple, and angelic. They are symbols of innocence. Children are actually flowers, unlike angels. Blake used the children to show the bright, the brilliant side of the human soul in this world. So he was sympathetic with them. Why? Because of that time children worked in a difficult, healthy, harsh condition or conditions. That is, we can call Songs of Innocence this kind of book which refers to innocent children. While the second book in his poetry, Songs of Experience, His book is full of misery, sadness, guilt, and tyranny. All Earth's active, vital energies are frozen. Why, here in this kind of book, the poet William Blake wants to correlate, associate winter with darkness and death. So, according to his two books, we find comparison, contrast between the ideas or the themes he was talking about in his literary writings. William Blake has a specific style in poetry. His language and style are characterized by simplicity, easiness, facility. His words are very common. His words used by the poet in his poems are everyday speech, as if one is speaking prose. Why? Because William Blake uses the language of the simple villagers and the poor to be understood. It is a special feature that is used in a romantic age. So now let us explain some notes or information about this text written by William Blake. Text or the poem, I mean. Little lamb, who made thee? Dost thou know who made thee? William Blake, first of all, addresses the little white lamb as if it was or were a person. The poet or the speaker of this poem personifies the lamb and gives it a human quality, because the poet deals with that little lamb as a human, as a person. Rhetorical question we can find, for example, in the first beginning or in the beginning of this poem. The poet William Blake questions that little lamb one rhetorical question: do you know who is the creator of your body? Do you know who is the maker of your body? Then the poet tells the little lamb that the creator, the maker, the God donates you some presents or gifts, such as life, food, clothing of delight, and tender voice. The Creator donates or gives the little lamb some presents or gifts. What are they? Number 1, life. 2, food. 3, clothing of delight. And number 4, tender voice. What is the source of food? Of course, the food is by the river, by the stream, and over the green grass. Clothing of delight has 3 features. It is soft, bright, and woolly. So what about the voice of that little lamb? Actually, we can say little lamb has sound, but as I told you before, the poet personifies the little lamb, the little white lamb, and gives it a human quality. Tender voice can fill all the veils with joy and pleasure. And then we find the poet William Blake tries to compare or compares between Little Lamb and Jesus Christ because both of them are innocent, mild, and meek. The poet as a shepherd, the lamb, and the child serve as symbols of Jesus Christ. William Blake writes, "He is called by thy name," means that your creator, your maker, is known, famous by your name because he calls him a lamb. Actually, my students, it is an agnostic concept because God is without name and form. God is God, as you know, but actually we can find like these misbehaving ideas in Christian tradition. So Jesus Christ is the name of the prophet. The Christ is meek and mild. Meekness and mildness are two divine virtues and qualities of an innocent child. William Blake, the poet of this poem, The Lamb, as a romantic poet, reflected some romantic features in his poem, such as he is interested in the beauty of nature when the poet refers to some natural elements, such as the lamb, veils, river or stream, and food. Then the poet, the speaker of this poem, pictures that the little white lamb is alone as a child. Blake wants to show his great love for the world of innocence and purity. Actually, here we can say, for example, the poet, for example, William Blake, wanted to tell us that something about natural beauty that is represented by the little white lamb. And you have also another information, keep it in your mind. The little lamb is a symbol of Jesus Christ. The little lamb is also a metaphor for the child. So that is enough information for you to keep in your mind about this poem. But you, as a student of third year, try to keep some information about this poem and life of the poet with some of his main or important features in writing poetry. Thank you so much for your listening today. Try to keep more because you should be professional in poetry, and good luck. Thanks so much for your listening again.